motor. Okay, so area posterior to the red pins is your postcentral gyrus. So that area is actually associated with sensory. Okay, what about this area here in green? What is the functional motor area for the one in green? That is your Broca. Okay, so you can see your lateral sulcus here, and then you can see that the triangularis area here. So this blue pins is actually in your Broca area. Okay, and then you have your premotor area, and then you have the prefrontal area. Okay, and then the mid eye field, the frontal eye field area will be around this region. Okay, so your parietal area, so mostly is for sensory, and behind your parietal occipital sulcus, the one in yellow, what area is that? It is concerned with vision. Okay, then when we look at the medial surface, so you can see this cut. What is this area? That is the corpus callosum. So it is composed of what type of fibers? Is it projection? Is it commissural? Or is it association? Commissural. Okay, it is composed of your commissural fibers. Okay, and then remember your central sulcus here, and then it stops here. Okay, and then this region that is known as paracentral lobule. Okay, so the paracentral lobule is associated for which part of the body? It's for the foot and perineum. Okay, it's for the foot and perineum. And then you have your cingulate sulcus. Okay, and beneath that you have your cingulate gyrus. Okay, and then there is a transverse sulcus along your occipital lobe. That sulcus is known as your, what is this sulcus? The transverse sulcus along the occipital lobe. That is your calcarine sulcus. Okay, so area above and below it, that is actually your, what area? That's your primary visual area. Okay, primary visual area would be along that. Okay, further up and further down, that would be the association or secondary visual area. Okay, alright, now you can also see the cut part of your cerebellum. Alright, okay, now we will go to the horizontal section of the brain. Okay, that is a horizontal section. So this kind of questions also can come out, whereby we make a section, and then now you can actually appreciate the ventricles. Okay, so there's a lateral ventricle, there's a third ventricle. Okay, there's a posterior horn of your lateral ventricle. There's an anterior horn, that is the posterior horn. And then you can look at all the grey matter or the islands of grey matter around this region. Okay, so now you can see this yellow pins. Okay, it's a boomerang shape. So what is that? What is that yellow pin showing? It's a boomerang shaped structure. So what is it? It's an internal capsule. Okay, so the yellow structure, the yellow pins following the boomerang shaped structure. There's a boomerang shaped structure. So that is actually the internal capsule. Okay, so you remember there are nuclei, okay, related or close to the internal capsule. So medial, okay, anteriorly, medial to the anterior limb of the internal capsule, the one in blue, what is that? Your caudate nucleus. Okay, lateral to the anterior limb, that is your lentiform nucleus. Okay, so that's a posterior limb. So medial to the posterior limb, the one in red, that is the thalamus. Okay, that is your thalamus. Okay, when I mentioned to you the other day regarding internal capsule, inquisitive may want to know if there's internal. Of course, there's external, right? Okay, so that is the internal capsule. And then you have your thalamus. Okay, just outside the thalamus, that area, that white matter is known as the external capsule. Okay, and just lateral, if you look properly, just lateral to the external capsule, there is a strip of grey matter, a very thin strip of grey matter, and that is known as the claustrum. claustrum. Remember when I showed you the slide that claustrum is part of the basal ganglia. Okay, so that is where you find your claustrum, bukan colostrum, it's claustrum. And external to the claustrum, that is the extreme capsule. Okay, so now I'm introducing you. You have internal capsule, you have external capsule, and then you have the claustrum. And then lateral to the claustrum, that is your extreme capsule. Okay, and if you can still remember, I told you about insula. Remember I told you insula, when you open up your lateral sulcus, you will see another grey matter underneath it. Okay, so that just lateral to the claustrum, when you open up, you are actually into your lateral sulcus. Okay, so when you look at this part of the brain, and you open this up, okay, lateral sulcus, you can see another cortex underneath it. Okay, you can see another cortex underneath it. Okay, so this cortex is actually the one which is closely associated to. Now we will go to your cerebellum. Okay, this is the cerebellum. Okay, is your hindbrain. Sorry, okay, that's your hindbrain. So you are looking at the cerebellum. Alright, so what you're seeing here is actually your, you know that it is also made up of the two cerebellar hemisphere. So the one in center is your vermis, and then you have your right and left cerebellar hemisphere. So when you actually cut the brainstem, this is what you see. Okay, this is what you see. So that is the anterior part or the superior part. That is the inferior part. Okay, so therefore I told you the center is known as the vermis, and then you have your cerebellar hemisphere, and then you know that it's being divided into how many lobes anatomically? 3 lobes. Okay, so you have the anterior lobe, and then you have the posterior lobe. Alright, and then you have your flocculonodular lobe, okay, which is actually really very close to your brainstem. So the anterior lobe and posterior lobe, they are being separated by a fissure. Okay, and what is that fissure called? Your primary fissure. Okay, so the primary fissure would be along there. Okay, so you have those pins actually demarcating the anterior lobe from the posterior lobe. Okay, and then you can see another fissure here. That is your horizontal fissure. So the horizontal fissure separates what and what? Okay, the horizontal fissure actually separates the superior part of the posterior lobe from the inferior part of the posterior lobe. Okay, so different. The horizontal fissure doesn't separate 2 different lobes, but the same lobe, the superior part of the posterior lobe and the inferior part of the posterior lobe. Okay, now these structures which I told you just now. Okay, you have the flocculonodular lobe. Okay, the one in blue. Now I'm showing you in blue. So the fissure that separates the posterior lobe from the flocculonodular lobe, you have the posterolateral fissure. Okay, so now you know that there are 3 lobes and there are also 3 fissures. Okay, so I guess that is all for the demonstration. So now you can go to the trolleys, open up your atlases, or you can also go to the boards, okay, to refer to the structures that I mentioned.